Hello, this is Matthew with Outfishing 13 bringing you another fishing reel service and repair video. Today I have the Zebco 33 Classic with one ball bearing. Previously in a video I had repaired the spinner cone and replaced the line brake. Today we're going to service it, clean it all up, and get it back into tip-top shape. Let's get started. Okay, before we get started, you'll need a few tools to get started on repairing your Zebco 33. You'll need a small screwdriver, a small Phillips screwdriver, a large Phillips screwdriver. You'll need some reel oil. I have some Lucas fishing reel oil here. I really liked that. You'll need some reel grease. I use this Pin precision reel grease. Might need some kind of little applicator to put the grease on. I use a little brush like this. You might also need some Q-tips for cleaning things up. I like to use WD-40 not as a lubricant but as a way to clean off all the old grease. You can also use hot soapy water. Occasionally on the gears I use some gum out choke and carb cleaner, and it works really good, but keep it off your plastic parts. Don't put this stuff on your plastic parts of your reel because it will eat it away. All right, well, let's get started. The first thing we want to do with any Zebco reel is take the front nose cone off. So for this one, it's just a little quick turn to the left. Here's that repaired cone that I've done. Hold on to the handle and turn this spinner cone to the left to unscrew it. The next thing you want to do is, using a small screwdriver, you want to take this E-clip off here. And so just with a little turn, you can start removing that E-clip. One of the things I want to make sure that we do is we want to make sure we loosen the drag all the way. That will make it easier for removing that drag, because I could tell that there was some pressure on the drag system. That E-clip was coming off a little bit too hard. Okay, there we go. So we have what's called a slotted, we have several different washers here. This is a slotted drag washer. Okay. Next, we have a Teflon drag washer. And that's all that's on there. Okay, now we can remove the spool. Check the back here. There's no washer stuck to the back. There's another Teflon washer. And another drag washer. This one's also slotted. Okay. And then here's your drag adjustment washer. Okay. This can go either way. It's got two little slots there. One goes right here and one goes into the drag adjustment screw. And that's all you need to do to remove that. Next, we want to come back here and remove the handle. You need a little Phillips screwdriver. Remove this screw. Then you can remove this little keeper here. This keeps the nut from loosening up. Have a pair of pliers. You might want to use a little wrench or now. Okay. Inspect this, make sure there's nothing, no washers there. Okay, we're ready to take the back cover off. Often if the back cover is hard to grab, you can just grab this button right here and turn it. Okay. Looking at this, I can tell that the grease is pretty old. Things haven't been done to it. I don't know if it's ever been serviced before. Okay. At this point, we can remove this. Okay. We'll make sure this gets cleaned up and service it and has new grease on it. There's the one ball bearing. It's right here. It's right down there. We'll make sure it gets oiled. Okay. To remove this, you remove this little, there's a little keeper right here, a little plastic keeper. Remove this little plastic keeper. Okay. It's shaped, it's kind of got a little L shape here. The L shape here goes to this side here. Okay. And to remove this, what you want to do is you need to take and push this big long bushing out here like that. Okay. And then you can take and remove this gear right here. Okay. Now if you want to take off this pawl, what you want to do is there's a little plastic keeper here, and what you want to do is you just want to take and squeeze that together like so. And then push it out. It'll go out one way because it's there's a kind of a slot in there, but that comes out like that. Be very careful. You don't want to break this little piece off there. When they get old, they can tend to get brittle. And then this little anti-reverse pawl comes out. Okay, just note how it goes back in. It goes back in just like that. Okay. So we'll clean those out. This will always also come out. And this will also come out here if you want to take it out. I don't have very much cleaning I need to really do. I just need to take and wipe out some old grease here. Now, this bearing can come out. There, I pushed it out from that side there. Okay. And we'll clean that off. And I'm going to take and go ahead and I'm going to put some oil on it to let that oil start soaking in because it is a shielded bearing. It doesn't matter which side it goes in, but I do want to take and put some oil on there and let that oil start soaking in. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to take a minute and clean up all my parts. Cleaning the parts can be pretty simple. You can use hot soapy water. You just have to let it dry out completely. Let it dry out for 30 minutes or an hour. You can use, on metal parts, you can use some sort of solvent. I like to use WD-40. It works really good as a cleaner and it wipes off easily. So I'm going to get everything cleaned up and we'll put it back together. Okay, I got all my parts cleaned up. Everything looks like it's in good operational condition. Nothing's broken. So we'll put it back together in reverse order. The first thing we'll start with is with the anti-reverse. And we'll lube and oil things as we go, as needed. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put a little bit of grease on this anti-reverse pawl. Just a touch of grease down here where it pivots. We'll put that part back in. Like, looking at it this way, it goes back in this direction right here, just like that, okay? Then we'll put just a little tab of grease just right here on this. We don't want to put too much. Okay, and then this has to go in a certain way because the way that this is situated, so we'll put it in like so, and then we'll turn it, and then snap it in there. Okay, now it's the way it should be. Okay, so off, on. Okay, now that we have the anti-reverse pollen, we need to go ahead and put in this bearing. I've already oiled it up, and we just need, it just presses in there, so just get it in there and then press it in with your finger. Okay, then the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and put in the main gear here. Now the main gear has an anti-reverse actuator right here. The anti-reverse actuator goes right here. Let me point it out. It goes right in this little slot right here for the anti-reverse pawl. Okay, so when you slip that in there, we want to make sure we oil this. Let's put a little bit of oil on this main shaft. When we put that in there, let's just make sure that we slip that in there just like so. And then we can put this on this little groove right here. It goes towards the inside. Push that all the way in, and then you can put this clip, this little plastic clip. Remember, it's a little L-shaped, and the little L shape goes towards the outside, like so. And then you can test out the anti-reverse. Okay, so the anti-reverse is working. Turn it off, and so it's working properly. Okay, the next thing that goes in is our main shaft. I got that all cleaned up, and we want to put a little bit of oil on it right here. Okay, we'll grease it up when we get to that point here next. Then you just want to slip it in there. Okay, just like that. Okay, now we're ready to grease. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put the handle on. That'll make it easier for greasing. So let's take the handle. Put the handle on there. Put our nut on. Tighten it up. If you have a nut driver, use a nut driver. Then fit this thing on here and put your little screw in there. You'll need a little Phillips screwdriver for this one. Okay. Now let's put some grease on this gear. If you put the grease on, just put it on the, dab it on the gears. If you don't want to smear it everywhere, because what it flips off never gets back on there. So you just want to make sure you get a decent layer on the main gears here. This just requires a little bit. And if you have a good quality grease like this pen real grease, it just takes a little bit. So now we got that on, we'll just go ahead and work it in there. All right. Now we're ready to put the back on. That's all we need inside there. We already got the shaft oiled. We got a little bit of grease on here. We don't need to put any more grease on things. The only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of oil right on this screw right here for the anti-reverse. Okay. Just work a little bit of oil in there. Okay, we're ready to put the back on. There's one place I like to put grease, and that's right here where this little metal shield right here contacts the shaft. Okay. All right, that's all put back together. Now we're ready for the front here. Okay, the first thing we need to do is we need to put on the drag actuator. Okay, it slips into a little slot here, and then it slips into here, and you may need to turn this to get it to fit down in there all the way. Okay, make sure it does that. We're going to add grease as we go, so we want to add just a very thin layer of grease. Just barely get any grease on this. So after this goes a slotted drag washer. Okay. And I'll grease it. And put on my Teflon washer. Grease the spool, grease the main shaft just a little bit. Main shaft, and then put on the spool. Okay. Then we'll put a little bit of grease right here on this part of the spool. Put on our Teflon washer. Grease it a tiny bit. And then we'll put on the last slotted drag washer right here. And then we're ready to put so let's get this put on. Okay, that's what it needs to do. Okay, the last thing is our spinner cone. Now, one of the things I noticed when I took this apart is that it was totally dry in here, and it needs a little bit of oil. What we need to do is we need to oil the pivot, a little bit of oil. We need to oil this little cam wheel, and we need to oil underneath here. Okay, that's good. It was sticking before, now it's not. We also need to put a little bit of grease right here on the end of this main shaft. That's what that little cam will run around on. Then we're ready to screw it back on. Screw it on there till it tightens up all the way. The anti-reverse will engage so it's tightened all the way. Then we can try it out. We can cock it, cocks well. The pin goes in, and then the pin comes out. So that's good. We're ready to put the front on. There's a hole down in the bottom here. That's a drain hole that goes towards the bottom. Let's put the string through the guide hole on the front cap. We'll test out the drag and once we get it put on. Okay, let's try the drag, tighten it up. There we go. Ready to catch some nice bass, trout, other panfish. This is a reel that's ready to go. It will last for many years to come. Anyhow, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so you can get notifications of every video I put out. I have over 85 reel repair videos, most of them on Zebco reels. There's quite a few on different models of 33s. I also have reel repair videos on the 33 Max. I have a watch list for super tuning the modern 33s, where you can remove an old bushing and replace it with a bearing. I have videos on how to super tune an 808 and service 888s, the 600s, the 202, the 404, the 606. So there's lots of videos out there that I have on these Zebco reels. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.